What's up, guys? We got another More with Devin show, and today we're going to be talking about fitness and the benefits of strength training as we age. A lot of times when we, think about strength training, we're thinking about getting swole, or just focused on, the aesthetic aspect, or you think about some kind of high level, power lifter, and we don't really associate it with, old age. And as we start to get older, or you think about it in the perspective of, being an athlete and performing at an optimal level, or is just rooted in something that's more aesthetic based, or, externally based when it comes to, younger people who are, trying to, like I said, powerlifting and, like external things that don't have to do with your health so much. But actually, strength training is going to be something that is extremely beneficial in many different perspectives as we get older. And it's better to start it now and keep it going. And if you haven't started it, you can always start and, build from where you are. A lot of times people think as you get old, you need to not lift and, you're going to injure yourself, or things are going to happen that are not in alignment with what you want as an old person or as you get older. But there's great improvements that can manifest from, working out. And, I'm 36 years old, and, it's around this time period where, we can get away with things when we're young. And around this time period is when, we got to start really focusing on our health. And it's almost kind of like a fork in the road where you start to kind of degenerate and, you start gaining more body fat and losing muscle tissue, from just the genetic level. As we get older, muscle tissue starts to reduce by about like 1 to 2%. Around like 40 or so, or 50. And then when we hit 60, it starts to decrease by around 3%. And that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to, people, having issues with their stability and mobility. And, it's not about just trying to work on your balance. Your muscle tissue and your strength has a big correlation when it comes to, your balance and ability to move around in an independent kind of way. So, strength training is one of the best ways to, combat that. And then, it's just a lot of different health, related things that are going to benefit you if you start to train in an efficient way, not going beast mode and messing yourself up or lifting with bad technique or lifting too heavy, but having a program that's intelligently designed. And if you don't have experience with training, having someone that's a professional that can help guide you in the right direction, and it can pay great dividends to your life and your longevity. And some things that we can talk about today that, as I already spoke about, we'll go into more in depth of the benefits that you can gain from strength training, to combat, the aging process is, it significantly improves, your muscle mass as well as your muscle quality. So, when you have more muscle tissue and, you're going to be able to move in a more efficient way. And then as well as it increases your maximum strength. And, the stronger you are, the more balanced you're going to be, the better you're going to be able to move in this realm. You better walk up steps and feel confident. You better walk off the sidewalk and know that you can, step down without any kind of issues. If you do fall, you'll be able to stop yourself and, be able to, control that fall in a way that you keep yourself healthy. If you're on the ground, you'll be able to get up easier. And like I said, people that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s, you think to yourself, you're not thinking about that stuff. But, those things are going to become an issue if you don't focus on it now and start to make sure that you got those things in place. And if you are in your 50s and 60s and even 70s, you can do something about it and reverse those issues just through, a clear, concise, intelligent design, strength training program. And I've seen so many of my clients in the gym who are in that population, somewhere between 40 to 70 years old, have dramatic improvements in their quality of life. I have a client who, at one point in time, it was very difficult for him to just get up and off the ground without pain and having to really almost use momentum or find something to hold on to get up. And now this guy can do a full knee bend squat, ass to grass. And, his knee pain he's not having issues with his knee pain. He used to walk down steps and have excruciating pain. That's going away. Back pain is gone. Just a lot of great situations. And then, his wife, was on vacation with her friends And this lady is, 60, 60 plus years old, and one of her friends had an issue, and she was able to run on the sand, full speed, run up steps, come down the steps, get in the car, and make sure her friend is okay. When at one point in time, she had back and knee issues all the time, and this is only a matter of like a solid 2 years of training. That kind of level has been able to be achieved, where the whole entire quality of life has improved for both of these individuals. And as well as some other things is so all those things I brought up, you improve your endurance, you improve your aerobic conditioning, you improve your overall VO2 max, and this is all through strength training, not even doing extra cardio, just actually resistance training in an efficient way. You can improve all these different things. And then also you have a greater delivery of nutrients to your muscles, so they're going to be able to heal and optimize their ability at the highest degree when you're being able to get the nutrients moving through your body in the most efficient way. And then and like I said, with that client that has been training for the last 2 years, but she's actually been training even longer than that. But long-term training yields great benefit to just your overall longevity as you get older, as well as when it comes to your overall independence. And what I talked about as we hit those later ages in those 40s and 50s and 60s, where it's just automatically you start to lose muscle, you can actually prevent that from happening. I don't know if people ever seen like the little memes and things, photos on the internet, where let's just say you see a person's quad, and the quad doesn't actually change in size, but when you get like a image of it, like a MRI type of image of it, you see that a person who's been lifting, let's just say about 80% of their quad is muscle tissue, and the person who hasn't been lifting, like only 20% of their quad is muscle tissue. And that those two individuals, even though they're the same weight, but extremely different body compositions, they're going to have way different lives when it comes to when they get older and the way that they can be independent. And that's a huge thing. That's one of the greatest wealths is your health. And if you can't, you can have a whole bunch of money in the bank, but if you can't move around, that money ain't really going to do nothing for you. So you have to, focus. Like I said, if you're in your 20s or your 30s right now, or you're in your early 40s, pay attention. Start even just 2 to 3 days a week of you taking care of your body will, pay dividends as we get older. And if you are in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, you can do something about it. You can get stronger, in just a small amount of time and not a lot of crazy, intensity. Just control movement with the right type of training you can see great change in your life on many different levels. And then, as we were talking about as well, body composition, it decreases your fat, increases your fat-free mass, which is muscle tissue, and decreases your, fat mass without even actually, having like really focusing on your diet. Just strength training in an efficient way where it's like a total body workout where you're, getting some progressive overload, you're getting the right amount of volume and frequency. Like I said, even sometimes one time a week, you can see results if you're deconditioned enough. And, changing that body composition, not so much just focusing on like the weight, but the composition of your body, changes things on a different level for you. And then also you get an increase in your metabolism, because if you have the more muscle tissue you have, versus the amount of fat mass that you have, it allows you to be able to get your metabolism more efficient. And, you have have overall better metabolic health. And so that's super important as well, the ability to process food. And then when it comes to things like there's something called insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. So insulin resistance has to do with, when you have a lot of body fat, your body doesn't process food as well as it could, specifically, carbohydrates. But let's just say a person who has, a really good body composition where they have like a good amount of muscle tissue versus their fat tissue, they'll be able to process food more effectively and efficiently. So that's really important as well, as we get older and just in general. And then it's also associated with, a lower mortality rate when it comes to heart disease. People who strength train, you're going to see a better perspective when it comes to their heart health overall, as well as there are certain, inflammatory issues that affect the heart. And, strength training will help reduce those issues as well. And then, like I was saying before, it's going to help you with your independence. You're going to be able to have better balance, better neurotransmitter function, So with your control and balance, you're going to improve your flexibility. And a lot of times people assume and think to themselves, like, when you lift weights, it's going to make you actually less flexible. But if you lift the right way, you can become more flexible and you're strong. And, so you're going to be able to move more efficiently and effectively. Your connective tissue gets stronger. Your joints have less pain. And it just, just an overall better quality of life. And so, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it. People that's in their 30s and 40s, you got to start taking care of your body, not just focusing on, the aesthetic aspect of it, but, the functionality aspect of it. And, as we talked about in the last, podcast, either you're moving towards your health or you're moving towards, dis-ease. And, it's all about those building blocks. And, so if you build a really strong foundation, listen to your body, love your body, you're going to build yourself towards those healthy perspectives. But if you just everything, I was talking to my son today and I said to him, everything has a cost. You got to give what you owe to get what you want. So even there's a cost for, being sedentary and not taking care of yourself. And that cost is going to be loss of independence, pain, what I mean? And not having function over your body. But then, training, what I'm saying, there's a cost to that. You got to put work in. You got to stay focused. You got to stay consistent. But what you're going to yield from that is freedom. You're going to yield, independence. You're going to yield ability to feel good. You're going to mentally feel better. You're going to be able to socialize, interact with, you got, grandkids or your family members, or you don't want people to feel like they have to take care of you, by you investing in yourself and taking care of your body as you get older, you'll be able to reap those rewards in a very, very, productive way. And then from there as well, a lot of times when it comes to, falling, when you have brittle bones, the older you get, people don't really realize this, but one of the major causes of death is, a person breaks their hip and it just messes everything up, and they in the, old folks home, and then they just go, a couple years later, they're out. Or somebody breaks their femur and, it just takes them out because their body is just so much for the body to heal. But, strength training helps with mineral density and bone density. So you strength train, your bones are going to be stronger. So then if you do fall, you have good coordination, you can catch yourself pretty well. And then from there, your bones are going to be more resilient. So you don't have to worry about, you have a less chance of, fracturing bones. And then even the couple that I was just talking about, they travel and live their life in an awesome way. And, they both fell at the same time and they were totally okay and was able to catch themselves, be at the gym like it wasn't nothing. And, that kind of situation, possibly if, they were less fit, not working out, it could have been a different outcome. So, so it helps with bone density as well. And as I said before, your overall cardiovascular health, decreases blood pressure, and like I said, when it comes to molecules that, have an effect on the, your heart and, increases that inflammation. It helps reduce that inflammation when it comes to heart health when you strength train. So it's just a lot of great benefits and things that you can prevent, through just a simple strength training regimen. And then also, there's been some studies that have shown that with high intensity interval training, it, helps with, depressive symptoms. So you can, help reduce, stress, as well as it improves, your levels of anxiety, better cognitive functioning when it comes to your memory. And then also it helps fight, type 2 diabetes by, being able to, what I talked about earlier when it comes to insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. And also there are molecules that, have an effect on type 2 diabetes and increases that inflammation. Strength training helps reduce that inflammation as well. So, like I said, a lot of times we look at training and, myself included, I got my IFBB Pro card. I started training specifically because I just wanted to look good. And that's a huge part of it. Hey, you're going to look better. You want a better booty or, you want a nice core or, stronger core, arms and shoulders, whatever that may be, your back, where your body composition is better, the way you put your clothes on, those things are going to be a part of it as well. But, I wanted to just talk more so on the aspect of, the longevity of, strength training and the benefits of it beyond just the aesthetic aspect. And, when you can get into a rhythm, you find a way of training that you enjoy, you're doing it in a way that you stay healthy, it pays dividends. So for me, like I said, I'm, at 36 years old, still feel young, still feeling good, but I'm around so many of my clients who are, 15 years older than me, in their 50s, you know what I'm saying, in their 60s. And it's like putting some a thought into my mind that I'm not going to just only focus on the aesthetics or like train in a way where, you know, I want to look so good that I'm willing to push through injuries and not take care of my body and then have to pay for it down the road. So like my whole training philosophy now and the way that I focus on training, I'm not pushing towards any kind of injuries, and I'm focusing on really building my connective tissue, making sure my joints and tendons, ligaments are really healthy and resilient, you know, focusing on like making sure that my knees are, you know, most optimal. Ran track back in the day, you know, did a number on my body because I was just focused on like how far I could jump. And, you know, so now I'm taking care of those issues. And then even, you know, fractured my back when I was in college and like making sure my back is strong and, you know, taking care of myself because, man, if I don't, then, you know, I don't want to be in a, you know, in any kind of issues that I could have prevented and say to myself, like, man, if I had to just listen, if I had, you know, took it slow, or if I had to like, you know, focused on my overall wellness and my, you know, my health, you know, I could be in a different space. I want to be able to, you know, when, you know, if Mari has children, or if I have any other children, be able to be a granddad and they say, let's race. You know what I'm saying? I'm still the granddad that's out here beating the grandkids in races, or, you know, they want to play some basketball or whatever it may be. Or I want to like wrestle with my grandkid, get on the floor and wrestle. I want to be able to do those things. And so you got to think about where you are right now. And then you got to put that, you know, work in, and you got to pay your dues to be able to get what you want. So I know, like I said, people look at me bodybuilder mode, athlete, but, you know, really what's happening behind the closed doors for me is I'm working on my overall wellness and, you know, and well-being and my longevity. But from that space, what's interesting, what I can say in reference to all of that is, you know, I have a 37-inch vertical because I'm focusing on my connective tissue, focusing on keeping my overall body healthy and making sure that I'm well. 37-inch vertical. And I didn't have that back when I was training super hard. And, you know, just give you some context, you just go look at, you know, the NFL Combine, and that's going to that's an elite level of jumping ability. And so from that space, by focusing on, you know, my longevity, by focusing on making sure my joints, tendons, and ligaments, you know, are healthy, making sure that I train in a way that I'm not, you know, putting myself in a space of acute pain and only focused on my aesthetics. You know, my physique is looking good. I'm feeling good. So you can actually, you know, maybe improve your performance. You can improve your aesthetics when you focus on training from a space of longevity. If you are young right now and you know, say to yourself, you want to continue to be able to do these things when you're older. And then on the contrary, if you are in your 40s, you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, however old you are, you can do something about it. You know, you may got to take it super slow, do body weight stuff, bands, you know, and, you know, something, maybe you don't train as frequently, you don't have as much volume, but little by little, you're going to get better and better. And then before you know it, you know, you walk up the steps or down the steps and say, oh man, no pain. Or you're in a situation where it's an emergency and you got to sprint. You can do it. And you're ready for life. And, you know, or you got grandkids, you want to hang out with them and like wrestle. You can do it. And man, that stuff is more valuable than, you know, having like a nice car or, you know, seeming cool and having all this money. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're not in pain, you're not hurting, man, that's one of the greatest things that you can have. And, you know, putting and investing in that and, you know, making sure that you're moving during, you know, taking the actions that put you in a position to keep that or to get it back, you know, is something that's very powerful that you got to make sure you keep yourself moving towards. But pretty much that's the gist of this, you know, this podcast today. I hope that I could have shifted some people's minds where, you know, that are younger, and some people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s realize that you have the ability to change it, keep it, or make it better. So, you know, if you have any questions, guys, you know, let me know. You know, send some DMs to me, and any way I can help you, I'll be there for you guys. As I always say, remember what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. All right, peace, guys.